Robots Radio presents
Fresh Tomatoes, the movie podcast.
I'm not usually a hat fan, but wow.
Jeg vil ikke være en dagger.
I'm really sipping on that dumb bitch juice today, and
Yeah, I am. But you know what? Someday I just might grow out of that. But you will never stop being a jerk.
All chocolate cakes are good. You're a fascist.
it's hideous.
It's horrible.
It's home. Angry white boy, let's go!
Hello, and welcome to Fresh Tomatoes, the movie podcast, the only podcast that asks the question, should a bee get into a relationship with a woman? That's Simone LaRue.
And that's Chad Akowitz, wondering once more why we do this.
So I believe you're coming from the position of that a woman should be in a relationship with a bee. Am I correct? That's the position you're taking?
It's like a nuanced situation, I think.
Well, like, we don't kink shame on this podcast,
We
but
don't kink
also...
shame. Can the bee consent? I mean, he's super sentient, so I guess he can?
Yeah, and I think he was way more into it than she was.
Yeah, I mean, I guess technically he's a minor because he's like 2 weeks old.
Yeah, that's not good. So
I
it
don't
can't
know,
be
it's
informed
tricky.
consent.
It's tricky.
It's a very tricky relationship. Yeah, there's a lot of power dynamics because I mean she can squash him.
Oh,
So
true,
that's
I didn't
already
even think of
a
that.
huge power dynamic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if to our listeners who are still wondering what movie we're talking about, it is obviously The Fox and the Hound, which inspires this week.
Please, can we never do The Fox and the Hound? Like, I can't feel those emotions again, please.
No. I think, well, first of all, it's obviously too good. And even if it did suddenly somehow become bad, I can't handle it. I am too fragile, like a very thin biscuit, and I will just crumble.
Yes.
Yeah. But what we really are doing this week is we are doing a bug week inspired by Brood X, which will be happening sometime later this year. And no, that is not a fantastic festival following on Fire Festival, but instead a huge emergence of billions and billions of cicadas that are coming out all across North America. It's going to be gross.
Enjoy
it's going
it,
to be
guys.
fantastic. Super looking forward to it.
Nice and loud.
I think sort of, it goes into the theme of the 2020s. Obviously last year we had the forest fires and all those kind of natural disasters and then a plague. And now we've got locusts, basically. So obviously Egypt
Super
has
fun.
to free the Jews and then we're done.
Let your people go.
That's obviously what's happening, right? It's just the Bible.
The bill.
So
It's
for Bug
always-
Week, Simone, what two movies are we doing?
So we agreed that this is going to be Creepy-Crawly week because the other movie that
Oh,
we're
right, did
doing
we? Okay.
is
Yes.
Eight-Legged Freaks. Spiders are obviously arachnids and not insects.
Mhm.
So yeah, Creepy-Crawly week.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I must say, for our YouTube listeners, this is going to be the best episode ever. And personally, I'm already fucking distracted because there is a little beautiful kitty boy in the background of Simone's video.
Magnus
and
is
it
just
is
over my
making my
shoulder,
day.
looking so fucking cute.
He's just doing his own thing and it's great to watch. It's probably going to be our most entertaining episode ever.
He's looking like he's about to pounce on me, so I'm like really
Yeah,
concerned.
look at it. Yeah, there he is. There he is.
Hi, Papa. Okay, now he's just
there
put
we
back in
go.
my chair.
There you go. Well, Simone, I want to advocate for the fact that I think let's get eight-legged freaks out the way first, because
Okay.
I think we have a lot more to unpack on
Sure.
B movie.
Fair
Yeah?
enough. Yeah, I'm happy with that.
So, but just out of interest, what are you drinking? Because it did look rather fancy.
No, not fancy at all. I'm just out of wine at the moment. Like I haven't been to the shops.
Oh no.
So I've got bitches and soda water. It's fine. It's relatively refreshing. It's not what I felt like, but it's hydrating.
There you go. There you go. You see, that goes to the optimism of this podcast. You're just constantly looking for the happiness in everything around us. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you? What are you drinking?
So this is a little bit of a story. I know I'm already talking your ear off today, but you last episode gave me the most amazing cheese sauce recipe where you put
Yes.
beer in instead of milk.
Beer cheese sauce.
And yeah, so like a madman, I decided to use a Guinness for the beer.
How did
to
that
use,
turn
because
out?
it's
Was it
nice
not too
stouts.
like overpowering?
No, it was so good because it was really, really because I cooked it down a little bit and then I did add like a little bit of water, so it sort of like kind of just dampened it a bit, but it was just so
Fair
tasty. And with like a nice strong mature cheddar as well, like those flavors
right.
really
Yeah, that's
kind of work
important.
together. Yeah, so I am drinking what's left of that, which is a Guinness, which is delicious. One of my
Very.
favorite
I mean,
beers.
St. Patty's Day was this last week. No, it wasn't. Yes, it was.
Well, it would be it would be by the time this comes out, 2 weeks. But yeah,
long ago. But
yeah.
So nice little celebration. I
so-
hope you used like a Kerrygold cheese or something.
I just use a mature cheddar, like a simpleton, like a basic bitch.
So you weren't celebrating the Irish at all. How very rude.
I know. I need to apologize to all the Irish people in our lives, which I think for me amounts to like one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So let me go first. 8 crazy legs, 8-legged freaks, and
Tell me all about it.
and then so excited for B movie afterwards. So excited. Okay. Mike Parker, played by Scott Terra, is buddies with the local weirdo, Joshua, played by Tom Noonan, who collects exotic spiders. Mike loves going down to Joshua's spider farm to learn about the different species of spiders he has, such as the tarantula, the jumping spider, and the trapdoor spider, to name a few. What's really interesting about today's visitation is that Mike notices that all the spiders have dramatically grown in size. Joshua explains that the reason for this is that he's been feeding them these crickets he found down by the lake. We know from a scene before this that the lake, and therefore by extension the crickets, have been contaminated by some radioactive waste. It is this that makes the spiders grow really, really big. So Mike leaves and we see that one of the spiders has escaped. It bites Joshua and he dies. On the way back to town, we meet Mike's mum, Samantha, played by Carrie Werher, who is the town sheriff, and Mike's sister, Ashley, played by Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, you weren't expecting to see a young ScarJo, but you did.
I mean, it's presents on presents, man. So they seem like a pretty normal family overall, even though Samantha doesn't want Mike hanging out with Joshua because he's so weird. So a bit later, we learn that the town is in financial trouble. The mine, which used to be this town's main source of infrastructure and job creation, has now completely dried up. The mayor of the town, Wade, played by Leon Rippey, wants to basically sell the town in order to get the people to relocate. The sale has to be unanimous with all the landowners, and unfortunately for Wade, there is one holdout, Chris McCormack, played by David Arquette. He is the owner of the mines and refuses to sell. His father, who died tragically a couple of years back, believed that there was another gold vein in the mine and that if they just kept digging, they'd find it. Chris still believes in his father's idea, so he refuses to sell. This is when shit starts going bad. People and animals start to disappear. That's when a group of teenagers are suddenly attacked by a bunch of massive jumping spiders. One of them escapes and tries to tell the police, but ends up being chased into the mines. Meanwhile, Ashley is attacked on her own home by another giant spider, but luckily both Chris and Samantha are there to kill it. Mike realizes what's going on and basically does absolutely nothing else for the rest of the movie to help. Shenanigans ensue. They realize that their best bet is to go to the local strip mall and try and hide out there. Unfortunately, the spiders are too strong and break through the barricades and chase the survivors down the mines. That's when Chris comes up with a great plan to blow up all the spiders using the natural methane produced in the mine and setting it on fire. He does this, him and Samantha fall in love, the town is saved because Chris finds the gold vein, and the movie is over. The end.
The end. Chad, what is your cliffhanger?
It's a weird one this time, but it's this one, which is the scene where ScarJo is being sort of sexually assaulted in her car.
Yes.
And she just like stands up for herself. She tases him in the dick, and she's like, I think it's the most teenager reaction because she's just goes like, I can't believe you proved my mom right. That's so lame. And it's just, yeah, I think that's kind of, you know, the weird comedy in this movie kind of makes it for me. I don't know how you feel about this film.
No, totally. And I mean, ladies, gentlemen, that's always an appropriate response if someone is making advances that you have specifically said you do not want. Tase them.
Yes.
Tase them right in the dick.
Yes, make him pee his pants. Nothing is nothing is more deserved than that. Yes. Absolutely couldn't agree with you more. Yes, ScarJo in the early 2000s teaching us how to do it right.
I was watching, I was like, yes, bitch.
So I cannot believe that ScarJo is in this movie. How surprising was that?
Tiny little baby.
Tiny little baby ScarJo. I think that was probably the most delightful thing of this movie because I did not expect to see that coming. And then love her. Love ScarJo.
Love her. How do you feel about spiders, like in general?
I'm okay with spiders so long as they're small. Anything
Mm,
that's sort of like palm size is a little bit too big for me,
yeah,
and it starts to get me a little weird. I don't like killing spiders because I just don't like
yeah.
killing anything. I mean,
No.
what it
What,
is, like it's just trying to survive,
to what
you
end?
know? Yeah, exactly. So, but I will say I watched this late at night and then I immediately went to bed after this and I did have dreams about spiders and it was quite scary.
Fair enough.
Yeah. What do you feel about spiders?
Yeah, I like them. You know, I'm not like I don't
Yeah.
want them on me or like, to crawly on me or anything, but like I can't remember the
Hmm.
last time I like intentionally killed a spider. I'm very much an advocate for like you get a glass over it and you gently
Hmm.
take it outside and you go, here, small friend. They kill insects. They kill like all the
Yeah.
other things you don't want. They're your friends. Um,
Exactly. Like they're not doing anything to harm you. Like no spiders are going out of their way to be like, yes, let's murder this
yeah, which is
human.
what something I didn't love about this movie, especially that the tarantula was the aggressive one when like tarantulas are famously super
Yeah,
chilled,
timid.
not venomous, and just like really lovely pets.
Yeah, I believe it was purely on the basis of their size. Like that would have actually been kind of nice in the movie if
Yeah.
Joshua in the beginning was just like, hey, they're really big. Well, the crickets are making them really big and really aggressive. Usually
Yeah,
spiders are not actually aggressive.
exactly.
That would have been like a
Easy.
really cute little PSA.
Yeah, because at first, like the tarantula escapes from the tank in that scene, and you see it crawling around. And at first,
Yeah.
I was like, "Well, this isn't a problem. He'll just like be like, oh, what are you doing?" Scoop it back into the tank, and the tarantula will be like,
Uh-huh.
"Oh, silly me." But no, then it's really angry and bitey.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I can understand it for like maybe some of the other spiders, the jumping spiders, that kind of makes the most sense because they're pretty mean.
Mm,
And same with the trapdoor spider, which I think is like one of the coolest spiders of all time,
yeah, they're
right?
fucking cool. That scene with the ostriches is
Like,
actually rad.
yeah, exactly. And that's actually the perfect word to describe this movie. It's just rad. You have
Yeah, it's just
like
it's got all the B movie stuff that you want, right? You've
yeah.
got like the guy returning to his small hometown, the one who got
Hmm.
away, the inexplicably hot sheriff.
Yeah.
The evil guy who's just in it for the money, the
Hmm.
teenage daughter who's like kind of bratty but reconciles with her mother, the nerdy young boy who rides his bicycle around.
Hmm.
It's every single trope that you want.
Exactly. It's so great for that kind of thing. And you have to eat it up because it's just so much fun. I
Yeah.
think where it falls flat is the fact that like as my synopsis kind of showed, there isn't very much to it. Like they
No.
had all the inklings of something really
Yeah, they
good,
built
you
up a lot of
know?
relationships and tensions,
Yeah.
and it doesn't really super get resolved.
No, not at all. Like you get that scene from at the end with the guy from Cool Runnings who was just like, oh, yep, and they went back to the mine and they got the gold and everything was fine. And it's just like,
The
that's
mine
not
they
a
just
good enough
blew up.
ending. Yeah, that's the other thing, right? Like I thought I missed something from
Yeah.
the ending there, but no, apparently not. No. Uh, but yeah, like if they had just developed it more, because like you said, they build those relationships. Where did the radioactive waste come from? How does
Yeah.
the kids feel about this guy who came in and effectively fucked up their relationship with the husband, punching him in the face and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff? Like all of that really cool shit, like the gold mine, the selling of the town,
And
even Wade,
then
who is evil.
yeah, because they imply that the
Nothing.
mayor is basically allowing toxic waste companies to store toxic waste in the mine, so like kind of dumping it
Mm.
basically. And that's never resolved. Like they just blow up the mine and like with all that toxic waste that's stored in there, did they remove that at any point? Like
Yeah. Very, very strange overall,
yeah.
and it would have been cool. I mean, in 2003, they did say that there was going to be a sequel, which I would have loved. But
Some things
and they could have
don't.
maybe done something with that.
Sometimes you don't need a sequel, you know?
That's true. I think this podcast is kind of
Proof,
proof
yes.
of that. Yeah. What did we think of like the early 2000s animation spiders?
Some of them were very cool. Like, look,
Mhm.
they did the best they could with what they had.
Yes.
Considering, like, the CGI in some movies today is still so janky. Like, I actually don't want to be
Mhm.
too judgmental.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know what? They're spiders, and you know, a lot of the time they move quite fast, so you don't really get to see any of the intricate details and stuff, which is fine. We don't need to.
Yeah, it's
And
whatever.
yeah, it was perfectly fine. It was perfectly acceptable for this rated movie. Apparently, the budget mostly went to the CGI, which I mean, completely makes
Fair,
sense. You've
yeah.
got those loads and loads of spiders. What I really liked about the spiders as well, though, is like they gave them little voices and stuff, like little like.
Yeah.
It was kind of cute. Give them a little bit of, you know.
Again, it's everything you want from a B movie, right? Like
1 second, there was a massive fall, and I just want to make
oh
sure
God,
everyone's
yeah,
okay.
okay. Mm. It's a gorgeous boy.
We've got serious problems. We need to look at this camp. Yeah. Seriously, yeah. We can't do this. It was fuck all I could do. Thank you for your concern. That
You're okay. Like,
yeah.
you're fine.
I'm more concerned about Mom.
Yeah.
If that had happened to Mom,
That would be it.
seriously, we've got fucking big problems. It's not a matter of, well, we must try and leave it out the way. It's not going to happen. So
Yeah.
we need to look at this very carefully.
Yeah.
Everything, are we okay?
Yeah. No, we're all good. My dad just tripped over something, but he's all right.
Okay, good.
So we're all good. Yeah. Where were we? We were talking about the voices of the spiders.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So, like, what else can you really say about this? To be fair, I mean,
It's
perfectly
exactly what it says on the box. Nothing more,
fine.
nothing less. It's a perfectly fine way to spend an hour and a half. Yeah, I mean, I was fine with it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd watch it again. I know I'm
Uh-huh.
skipping ahead here, but I'm glad that I did watch it the first time.
So, like, I mean, was this your first ever viewing, or have you seen this
No,
film
I think I saw it
before now?
ages ago, like maybe around the time it came out, or just like a couple of years after. I mean, this came out in 2002.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute. It's almost been it's almost 20 years. Good Lord, that's
Yep.
scary. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. But yeah, like a friend mentioned to me, I was speaking to her about this, and I was saying, oh, we're gonna watch Eight-Legged Freaks this week, and she was like, that movie reminds me so much of Evolution. Do you remember that movie? Also old school 2000s film
No, I
from like
don't.
the same era. Oh yeah, like these two movies like went hand in hand. It was like sort of like you either watch this or you watched Evolution. You were like in one of two camps. It was a very weird time, you know, to really hitch your wagon to.
Yeah.
But yeah. Maybe
Gotcha.
we should do Evolution at some point.
Maybe.
Who knows what the future holds. All right, so you said you wouldn't watch it again, but what is your scene that could have saved it if there is one?
I mean, how do you mess with perfection? I would have taken out the scene of the cat being killed. I just for obvious reasons, I just really didn't like it. It made me really sad. It was very long. Like that was a prolonged scene.
Yeah, it felt like they could have probably developed that using like actual story rather than a cat and a spider fighting. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't love it. That cat put up a hell of a fight.
Yeah.
But I don't like hearing cats in distress.
Oh, that's the most like wholesome thing of the whole thing. Oh, that's so
I hate
lovely.
it when animals get hurt. I don't like it. I didn't even like it when they shot the giant spiders. I was like, oh, it's just trying to do its giant spider thing. It's just a little hungry.
That is actually a really good point as well, because I mean, the spiders actually, you know, like you say, we're just doing their spider thing just because like they've got a new sort of food source now because
Yeah.
they're bigger than you are. It doesn't mean it's their fault. I mean, that's not how most spiders hunt, but we're just gonna, ignore that
Yeah,
fact.
we're not gonna get into the probably massive amount of biological inaccuracies.
Yeah, see, like I've mentioned
What's
it
yours?
before,
Yeah.
but yeah, so like I mentioned it, sort of like mentioned it, and it's the fact that like I just wish they had developed one of those awesome backstories a little bit more, even if it's just like the evil mayor of the town selling the radioactive. Like, let's develop that story more, have
Yeah.
like a really nice, good conclusion for that. Let's just
Yeah.
keep that rolling. Yeah.
I want to find out how the unreasonably hot sheriff became sheriff.
So you want a prequel? Like, it has nothing to do with
Yeah, nothing at
spiders.
all
It's
to
just
do.
her
It's just her
election
versus
to
the
sheriff.
patriarchy.
I love it. Yeah. Exactly. She seems to be the only
While
attractive person
dealing
in the
with
whole
like a
town.
shitty abusive husband.
Yeah,
And
that's real
being
good.
pregnant at a very young age. Like
Yeah,
she
I like all of that.
it's canon. She was she got pregnant at 16 and she married this
Mm-hmm.
asshole. Like, how did she become a chief? That's kind of amazing.
Yeah, that's a pretty great story, actually.
Yeah.
That's Oscar worthy right there.
You know?
We could write that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would actually be a really interesting pitch to bring to Netflix if we were just like, right, we got a prequel for Eight-Legged Freaks,
Yeah.
but all it is the story of the sheriff.
Yeah.
would
No,
love
there are
that.
no spiders
Netflix-
in it. Please stop these ridiculous questions.
Yeah, why did you think it would have spiders in? I mean, it's a prequel.
Okay, the spiders are
Obviously
the
it
least
wouldn't.
interesting thing about Eight-Legged Freaks, first of all.
Yeah, exactly. To be fair, you mentioned that, and it's just like the women in this movie are actually really, really strong.
Yeah,
Like
that's
well-written female characters, which is very cool.
Yeah, that's true.
Hmm,
Gladys
look at that.
even.
Yes, she didn't take no shit from no one. She's
Mm-mm.
great. Like Gladys.
Yeah.
Mm.
So actually, you know what? This movie's pretty fun, actually.
Yeah, I'll show it to my young daughters one day and say, this is what you should emulate. Strong, positive female role
Yes,
models.
feminist
in your
film
life.
night. Eight-Legged Freaks.
Eight-Legged Freaks. Who knew it? Who knew it? And I guess that would be the only time that I would watch this again. I've watched it now. Maybe I'll wait another 20 years to watch it.
For feminist film night.
for feminist film night. Well, Simone, now that we've done that, let's spend the next 6 hours dissecting the Bee Movie, please.
And every
I'm
time
so
we say B,
excited.
we have to talk a little bit faster.
Yes.
Okay, guys. I'm doing my best.
I'm so excited.
Okay. Barry B. Benson, played by Jerry Seinfeld.
Sorry. I'll try and keep that in.
Okay. Barry B. Benson, played by Jerry Seinfeld, is on the cusp of the rest of his life. He's about to graduate college and start the rest of his life as a productive member of his beehive. He and his best friend, Adam Flayman, played by Matthew Broderick, embark on their graduation tour, and Barry quickly realizes that he has to choose one job for the rest of his life, and he is paralyzed by indecision. While he's trying to decide what to do, he decides to go out into the world with the pollen jocks, or aka the bees that get all the pollen to make the honey, and do a bit of an explore. On this, we learn about how important pollination is, and also how important honey is to the bees and how their lives revolve all around it. While he's out on this fly, a series of shenanigans ensue, and his life is saved by Vanessa Bloom, voiced by Renee Zellweger. Vanessa saves him from her boyfriend, Ken, played by Patrick Warburton, when he tries to squash Barry. She saves him. Barry breaks the first law of being a bee and talks to her to thank her. Barry immediately has quite the crush on Vanessa and resolves to spend more and more time with her. One day, while they're exploring a grocery store, he sees a bunch of jarred honey for sale, and he realizes that people have been stealing honey from bees with no compensation and giving it and just selling it, and the bees are being exploited. So he decides he's going to
Outrageous.
sue the whole human race on behalf of bees so that they can finally be, I don't know what his end goal is, but they want their honey back. So what follows is a long court case against lawyer Leighton T. Montgomery, voiced by John Goodman, who represents all of the major honey food production companies.
Mhm.
There's a lot of back and forth. His best friend Adam almost dies after being goaded into stinging the lawyer. Barry and Vanessa grow closer. Vanessa breaks up with Ken because he doesn't understand what she's doing and how important it is. And they win. The bees get all of their honey back. People who steal honey from the bees are punished, and all seems right with the world. The bees can finally put their feet up, stop working. They've got enough honey to last them a lifetime now. Unfortunately, the bees putting their feet up means that they're not pollinating. So all of the flowers start slowly dying, and it seems like there will be no more plants, no more food, no more agriculture, because bees are very important to our ecosystem. Vanessa explains all this to Barry, and they realize that their one last shot is getting a flower float from the Rose Parade in California, putting it on a plane, transporting those flowers back to New York so that they can use the pollen from those flowers to pollinate all of Central Park and I guess save agriculture everywhere.
Yeah, the whole world. Yep.
Yeah, shenanigans ensue because Barry accidentally knocks the two pilots unconscious, so a bunch of bees have to help him land the plane. That's successful. The bees then take the pollen, pollinate Central Park. The effect is immediate. The day is saved. Cut to a couple days in the future. Barry is practicing law, representing other exploited animals outside of Vanessa's very successful flower shop. The end.
Good Lord. Well done for getting through that.
Thanks.
Holy crap, there's
Thanks.
a lot there. So what is your cliffhanger then? Please tell me.
My cliffhanger is this one. And it's the one where Vanessa is arguing with Ken, and she's like, he's a nice bee, and he's the nicest bee I've met in a while. And he looks, he's like, what the fuck are you saying? Like, you're talking like a crazy person. And then they break up. And I love this because they keep treating
Yeah.
her ex-boyfriend like he's unreasonable or like a little
Mhm.
crazy for not supporting her. And it's like, he is the
Yeah.
sanest person in this whole movie.
It's perfect for that reason. It's so funny for that. It's like we're supposed to be taking this bee's side, but when you look at it objectively, what?
He's got a bee trying to steal his girlfriend.
Of course you're gonna fight with him, but also, why would you even fight with him? He's a bee, just murder him. It's fine. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Yeah. So this movie is a lot.
Yes, it certainly is. The first 10 minutes of the movie are kind of like the opening to any YA dystopian novel, you know? It's The Giver, it's
Yes.
Divergent.
Yes.
It's very
And
much
then it
like
just goes
yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah, so that's how it starts. It starts like a YA dystopian novel. It turns into a critique of capitalism?
I
Or
think so, right?
yeah,
Like
but then
exploiting worker bees and stuff.
yeah, but then it also isn't a critique of capitalism because then when the bees get their honey so they can stop working because now they're being fairly compensated, society falls apart.
Mm.
So
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not
Yeah,
sure what we're
it's-
in support of here or what we're critiquing.
No, the whole movie is like a weird fever dream because I think it can be like split into two parts because you got the court case and everyone wins,
Yeah.
and then you got the airplane scene, both of which are in themselves enough to be enough of
Yeah,
a
and
story arc for a
both
film.
very contrived to get to where they are, you know?
Yes, exactly. It was made more for the jokes, and they kind of
Mhm.
just wrote a story around
Mhm.
it rather than doing a story first and then writing the jokes to fit. And yeah, you just see that with the bee puns all the time. Just these really exhausting bee puns that just
When-
don't end.
When he tells his friend that he's met a girl, and his friend's like, "Oh, is she bee-ish?" Come on, Jerry Seinfeld. Like,
That's so bad. That's so bad.
hate
So
it.
it's like, is that like, does that
Like
mean like that there are multiple religions now? So you
Well-
get like Catholicism.
I think also because it was like, "Oh, you're not dating a wasp, are you?" Which also,
Yeah, that was pretty
religious
great.
joke.
I appreciated
very
that.
funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very strange. I don't understand how this world works. Especially,
Yeah.
I don't think they understand how pollination works. Like, I really appreciate that this movie is trying to show how important bees are. Bees are super important. We should be doing everything we can to save them. But okay, why would you bring a flower that is probably not growing in New York?
No.
Why would you go to all this trouble to bring it there so you can pollinate the other plants? Like, do they understand that like pollination, it only works if you get pollen from like the same species of
Yeah.
plant, and then there's like still got to be a whole fertilization cycle thing. Like the plants don't immediately
Yeah.
perk up.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not like you can mate dead plants. Like that's
Yeah.
not how it works. Like once the plants are dead, like they're dead. They can't
Yeah.
just be like, oh, cool, got me some little pollen now. Now I can start reproducing. No, they're dead. Like most dead things, if not all dead things, you can't reproduce once you have died. Just
Yes.
basic biology. But yeah, you're so right. And also the fact, like, why would you take them like all the way to New York? So California to New York, that's East Coast, West Coast to East Coast. Like just go to like Nevada or any other state
Yeah.
that's right next door to
And I guess fuck
California.
everywhere else. I don't understand. And then the central problem also wasn't really solved, right? Like the bees still have too much honey. They technically don't need to work. There's no scene where Barry's like talking to the bees and he's like, oh no, it's really important that we still work. And then it's also not really resolved what they do with all the honey. Like there's a throwaway line at the end where Vanessa's like, oh, would you like to buy some honey? It's bee approved. So that implies that like the bees are selling their own honey now. So like maybe, I guess they've seized the means of production.
I mean, that's what Karl Marx wanted all along.
So what political message is this trying to send? I don't understand.
It's all like what I love. I was reading the trivia on this movie as well, and so apparently Seinfeld came to Spielberg with the idea of this movie as a joke. They were just like at a party, and he joked about it, and Spielberg was like, "Yes, on it." So clearly, Spielberg is on a lot of cocaine, and is now insane.
I would love to be like that level of like wealthy and influential, where like my friend can just like shoot me a really fucking dumb idea, and I can go, you know what? Fuck it, I'll get this greenlit in no time. Don't you even worry about it.
Yeah, this was the ultimate power move. This is big dick energy. Yeah, yeah. So I like before talking about sort of, you know, the trivia on this, I do want to read my favorite piece of trivia from the IMDb page, which was definitely written by someone who is just really, really mad at the world and is just a bit of a troll. So here we go. Bees in the real world have a very different biology than the bees in this movie.
Yeah.
In the real world, male bees don't contribute at all to the honey-making process, which is done entirely by the females. Male bees are drones and just hang around the hive to mate with the queen. Drones have no stingers. That's the female's reproductive organ and self-defense method. Though bees do tend to die after stinging, as the stinger, which has tiny barbs on it, rips free from their body as the bees fly away. Also, male mosquitoes do not drink blood. Only female mosquitoes do, as a protein source for their eggs, not as sustenance for themselves. Furthermore, insects have 6 legs, not 4. They have compound eyes, not simple ones.
You know what? That is valid. This was someone who has been studying insects for a very long time, and they were like, oh, finally, a movie about bees, and they watched it and just shook with rage.
I would love to see if this person also wrote on the page for Secret Life of Bees, and we're just like, this is not the Secret Life of Bees. Amanda Siegfried is not a friend to the bees whatsoever. What I love as well is that only 127 out of 171 people found this helpful. So there are people out there being like, I don't give a shit, and then just not
It's a movie
enjoying
for
that
children.
That's another thing, though. Is it really? Where a bee and a woman fall in love, is it a movie for children?
Especially because when I told my friends, like, oh, I'm doing bee movie this week, all of them were like, isn't that the one where she fucks a bee? Like, that's the only thing people remember.
Yeah, I mean, it's a weird trope. It's just a weird thing to develop as far as a movie goes. Like, why?
Okay, well, you know what? Let's circle it back a little bit here, Chad. What did you like about the movie?
Fair. I loved John Goodman in this. I think he did a great job.
I love John Goodman.
He is so funny on a good day, and this was just one of his best days. To just be like, obviously Seinfeld was just like, you know what, have at it, just go nuts, have the best time, do whatever you want,
be the most cartoonishly villainous self.
And it was perfect. It was absolutely what I wanted. I thought I would like the jabs at Ray Liotta more than I did.
Poor Ray Liotta.
Hey, like, I felt really bad for Ray Liotta in this, actually. Yeah, he's a bit of a wild card, but I kind of love him.
He was
and
a good
he just gets
sport
attacked
about
in this. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, obviously, you know, Vanessa's boyfriend, he is just always hilarious. What's his name? I can never remember.
Patrick Warburton.
Patrick Warburton is one of the most fantastic actors of all time, and I cannot love him any more than I already do.
You know, I will say that the casting in this movie was flawless.
Yes.
I never would have personally put Jerry Seinfeld in a movie about a bee, but somehow it just works. His best friend is played by Matthew Broderick.
Also really weird, but really works.
Sure. It's I don't understand. This movie just seems to like really have resonated with some people, and I guess I can kind of see it, but it's just it's really too unreal to be believed.
That's the thing. I think this kind of goes to the idea of the human spirit, because only the human race can take a movie about a bee in which he fucks a woman
and sues the human race.
And sues the human race and bring it back, you know, 3 years after its creation. No, sorry, 11 years after creation, because it was sort of like 2007, and then it got like a rehashing in 2016 with the YouTube phenomenon of the Bees movie, but every time they say bees, the movie gets a little bit faster. And then all the fucking variations on that were just perfect. Only the human race can do that. Only the human race can take this weird ass movie that should have just laid dead and buried and make it a phenomenon again that we will be talking about for years.
Yeah, no, you're so right. You're so right. And you know, I will say also that this movie is very beautiful. All of the flight scenes are so pretty, and however scientifically inaccurate it is, the scene where they're pollinating New York at the end, so pretty. Here Comes the Sun is playing. That's nice. I liked all the little bits inside the hive, how it looked like a fun factory / amusement park. Like, there are little bits where I'm like, this is really fucking cute. I just the key with B movie is you can't think about it too hard.
It's a kids movie, and it should be left. It should be left there. I think adults have just come in and kind of taken over the whole vibe. But yeah, it is a kids movie. It should have remained a kids movie. It's weird if you think about it too much, because you know.
And I think that was our mistake at the beginning of this. We're wondering what the political agenda is. Maybe there isn't one. Or
it's just
maybe there is.
Or is this Jerry Seinfeld's attempt to run for the mayor of New York?
Is this his 1984? No, not 1984. Animal Farm. Is this his Animal Farm?
That is a I like that. I like that a lot. Jerry Seinfeld is clearly a genius, and we're all just too stupid to realize.
I think he thinks so too.
But yeah, so what is there a scene that could have saved this for you? I don't know, man.
Where would you begin? Where would you start?
Where would you begin? Because there are 2 movies in this. Really,
there are several.
So yeah, I mean, I would love to have seen a movie of just Ray Liotta getting into the honey business. That could be really
that sounds
fun.
Delightful, frankly.
Yeah. You could make it sort of like Goodfellas, but it's about honey, and that's just adorable.
I would watch that. That would be very cute.
Yeah. There you go. We've come up with 2 really good prequels to this movie.
He has like a little badger sidekick or something.
Oh my god, yes! And the badger's even meaner and off the chain than he is. Yes! And it's just like, who is really the crazy one?
It's so fun, but then they reconcile their differences, and guys, Netflix.
That's beautiful.
Netflix.
Come on.
Come on,
Seinfeld.
We pitch you a new idea every week.
Let's do this. Seinfeld can back it. He clearly has enough money to just back whatever the fuck he wants. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's get Spielberg on this. Let's go.
I'm gonna piggyback off yours because I've got nothing that could have saved this. Maybe, make it even more Citizen Katie and just like
Oh.
take out the airplane shit and just like really hammer down on that court scene. You know me, I love a good court
Oh,
drama.
yes. You'd make it a full legal drama.
Yeah. And obviously, do the correct procedure because they really fucked with procedure in this.
Yeah, you
Simone, and
can't
it very
bring a
much upset
bear
me.
into court.
Yeah, that's an unfair exhibit. That's not right. And then also the defense doesn't start the trial off. The prosecution does. Obviously, it's them bringing the case. But that stressed me out way too much.
Valid.
Also, I would have just got like that judge recused because her surname was Bish. So I would have just been like, you've got an unfair bias. Get out.
Hey, female judge. That's something.
Yeah, female judge. Although did you feel a little bit icky when Jerry Seinfeld started talking about slavery, as in like proper slavery, and then like in front of obviously an animated black judge? But even so, I was just like, oh no,
What if we did?
too far.
Yeah.
Bring it back. This is a kids movie. So would you watch this would you watch this insane fever dream again? This Karl Marx fever dream?
No, I don't think I would. Watching it again was enough. I was like, okay, this is what B movie is about. I've seen it. I know that now. I can let it go.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. What about you?
Yeah. Feel the exact same way. Like I said to you last week, I've never seen the full B movie. I've only watched, parts of it to accumulate into a full movie. But it was nice to see it once the whole time through, and now never again. We've got like 19 seasons of Seinfeld. If we want to see Jerry Seinfeld shouting aggressively, we can just do that for the next 2 years.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Simple
very
as that.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Simone. This has been a week. What a fantastic thing to do.
My
I mean,
goodness.
we'll keep finding genres, whatever.
Yeah, we
beautiful
keep
things
coming
spoke
up
to
with
us.
new themes. I'm very happy about it.
So, what is your gratitude for the week?
Oh, I hadn't even thought of this. My gratitude for the week is so my new work, the offices are in the City Bowl. So it's optional whether we go into the office. Like we can work fully remote, or like we can go in. So I try to go in like once a week just to feel like I'm part of the world.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And it's like really nice that it's in the City Bowl, because I feel like this might not mean a lot to our other Cape Town listeners, but I always like avoid going to the City Bowl because it's like always a mission, and it's like so out of the way for me, and like it's such a schlep. So it's kind of nice like that now I'm in the City Bowl, so I have like a bit more incentive, or like it's easier for me to like explore the different little cool restaurants and bars, because town is really cool. Like it's really vibey, and there's like a lot of awesome stuff going on, and I feel like I missed out on a lot of it. So yeah, it's cool that now I've got like a bit more of like an excuse to explore that more. On Friday we found a really cool little wine bar.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
That sounds so nice.
Yeah, it was lovely.
Beautiful.
It was super
So what did
pretty.
you have, like sundowners there?
Yeah. It was just so
Beautiful.
cool. I was like, I never would have discovered this place if I hadn't like been in town after work,
Yeah, no, absolutely. You're so right. And I think the other thing about the CBD in Cape Town is it is a little bit intimidating.
Yeah,
like if you're not
it's
there
a
all
lot.
the time, like it can be a lot. Like it's quite overwhelming. But yeah, I think being in there at least once a week is gonna sort of, limit that. I know you've been living in Cape Town forever now, but yeah. So great. So wonderful. I'm so happy for you. That's great. And you're gonna find all these little places.
Yeah.
And then
I'm
when I
super
come back to
excited.
visit you, you're just gonna take me to
I'll
all
just
of
show
them.
you.
It'll be great.
Exactly.
Yeah, it'll be so nice.
What's your gratitude?
I finished exams, which is lovely.
Yay.
Which is
So now
nice.
it's one more
and
term left.
well, I've moved to part-time now, so it's 2 more terms just so I can do that. But basically, like it's not that hard. I've got 4 more courses over the next 2 years, so it's like easy breezy.
Oh, okay, wow.
Like I'm essentially done. This is like part-time, like a Coursera course or like something on that. So yeah, I'm really happy about that. And I think the absolute kicker to that fact is the fact that I was able to catch up on all my podcasts. Like,
Nice.
you know how frustrating it is when like you've got something really busy on and then you just like let them stack up and now you've got like 13 episodes of everything to catch up on, and it's exhausting to try and catch up. And I've done it. I've caught up, and I'm up to date, and I'm really happy about that. It's such a good feeling. That
incredible. Well done.
Thank you so much. So Simone, any ideas for next week?
Yes, I have been holding on to this one for a minute, but I thought, what if we do a Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson week?
I'm all about it.
He has been in some total bangers.
So we're gonna redo Pain and Gain, yeah?
Oh my god, shut up. Okay, sorry, I'm just
No, have a look.
Rotten Tomatoesing it. But I feel like we can get into some like old classics of his, you know?
Yeah, like really early stuff, like not necessarily Scorpion King, because yikes.
Yeah. I hate that I have to like go between like 3 different fucking platforms, and it's not fun for our YouTube watchers. I can only apologize.
I'll do a little dance while you're looking it up.
Okay, let's see. Oh my god, he's been in so many things.
He's absolutely legendary. Like, I mean, he came out of nowhere. Obviously, he did his wrestling and stuff, but
yeah.
I mean, he really kind of like 2016ish, 2015. He was just like, oh, now you're the biggest star in the world, so that's fine.
How do we feel? Maybe like go a little old school first with the Scorpion King.
Oh, I was taking a joke out of that, but yes, I will fucking love to do the Scorpion King. Yes.
God, he's in so many things. And then we could get him. Ooh. Wait, let me double check that the Scorpion King is okay. Oh my god, there's so many Scorpion King movies. Yeah, it got 41%. That's cool.
Yeah, we can get in on that.
And then I thought, what if we did like what's the one he did with like the oh god, this is gonna sound weird. The cute little girl, like he did his, you know, oh, I'm the dude.
Oh, Project Tooth Fairy or something.
Yeah, I think it's the
something
Tooth
like
Fairy.
that. Codename the Tooth Fairy or something like that, I think.
Hang on. Yeah, I think it's the Tooth Fairy. I think you're right. Because I feel like that gives us a bit of a spread, you know?
Yeah, it's sort of like his 2 phases, his 2 initial phases before he like just did whatever the fuck he wanted because he
I want like early rock, you know?
Yeah, I feel you. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, let's do those. Let's do Scorpion King and Tooth Fairy.
Is it called Tooth Fairy? Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I'm really excited for this. All right, I'll intro it again.
Cool.
So, Simone, what are we going to do next week? Any ideas?
Yes, Chad, I've been wanting to do this for a while. He is a national treasure, the joy of Hollywood, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Yes. Oh my god. Yes. I mean, how could we not? How is it taking us again this long to do this? Yes.
Totally. You know, he's a delight.
Everyone loves him. How could you not love him? He's giant.
So I wanted to cover his movies like before he became like a super big sensation, like when he was just like this really big wrestler dude who like did movies sometimes. So we're doing Scorpion King, a classic.
Yes, so good. I love that movie.
And the Tooth Fairy.
Fucking, I haven't seen the Tooth Fairy. I'm ready for it. Should be creepy.
And I'm keen to compare it to like Jackie Chan week we did where like he was what was that movie?
The Spy Next Door, I want to say.
Yeah, Spy Next Door. Yeah. Exactly. It's always that one of like, oh, I'm a tough guy, and now there are these kids.
Yeah, exactly. And how do I deal with the kids? So yeah, I think that would be an interesting thing. Yeah. I think we're in for a good week. I love the Scorpion King. I mean, as a follow-up to the original Mummy, chef's kiss. So good. So good.
Super excited.
Yeah, I'm really ready for this. That's great. Well, thank you. Next week is Christmas all over again. I'm so ready for it.
It's what we aim for.
So thank you guys for listening. We really appreciate you. What are you guys doing? If you're in North America, are you hunkering down for Brood X? What do you think of bee movies? Do you believe in the equal right of bees to, you know, not have their honey taken advantage of and the ability to have sex with human women if they consent, obviously.
Yeah.
Let us know in whatever ways you can. And where can they do that, Simone?
They can talk to us on Facebook or Instagram at Fresh Tomatoes Podcast, on Twitter at Fresh Tomatoes MP. You can email us at freshtomatoespodcast@gmail.com.
There you have it. And as we say at the end of every episode, we love you and there's nothing you can do about it.
We love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Bye.
Bye.